Long, long ago, there was a deity named Nüwa. She came down from the heavens to the human world. As she looked around, she saw the earth lush and green, with little streams meandering under the trees. Looking up, she noticed plump clouds dozing lazily in the sky. Amid the bird song and blooming flowers, she felt as though something was missing. Nüwa casually scooped up a handful of yellow clay and, modeling it after her own image, molded a small clay figure. She blew a breath onto it, and the little clay figure opened its eyes, raised its hands, and moved its feet. Nüwa called it human. Then she made a second human to keep the first one company. Before long, a third little clay person appeared. Soon, many tiny clay people slipped from her hands onto the ground, bouncing and skipping, playing joyfully on their own. Nüwa smiled and continued to mold. There were still only a dozen or so little humans on the vast, empty earth. So Nüwa dipped a green vine into the clay slurry and waved it across the ground. Wherever the droplets of clay fell, another person came to life. Crossing mountains and streams, Nüwa scattered people across the beautiful land. Soon the earth was filled with humans. From then on, people lived in the world created by the gods, relying on their own hands to make a living, peacefully and happily. But one day, lightning flashed and thunder roared across the earth. Forests caught fire, and frightened birds and animals fled in panic. Then came a deafening boom. Half the sky collapsed. It turned out that the water god Gong Gong had lost an argument with the fire god Zhurong. Ashamed and furious, Gong Gong rammed himself into Buzhou Mountain, not knowing that it was one of the pillars holding up the sky. When Buzhou Mountain collapsed, so did part of the heavens and earth. Torrents poured down from the Sky River, and people were thrown into chaos. Nüwa lifted a massive rock, trying to block the huge hole. But the rushing floodwaters swept the stone away. She tried several times but failed. So Nüwa gathered many shimmering stones from rivers, lakes, and seas and piled them into a multicolored mountain. Then she collected reeds from the earth, lit a fierce fire, and smelted the mountain of stones for 9 days and 9 nights. Holding the blazing, multicolored molten stone, Nüwa flew to the western sky and began to patch the hole. After 7 days and 7 nights, she finally repaired the great rift. The sky, now mended, filled again with colorful clouds. The floodwaters on earth slowly receded, and humanity entered a new era, where men farmed and women wove, a time of civilization. When people wanted to thank Nüwa, they saw her seated in a thunder chariot drawn by a flying dragon, surrounded by brilliant clouds, ascending into the heavens. The ancient tale of Nüwa mending the sky has been passed down through the ages. Why? Because people with kind hearts and righteous minds always wish to pass on stories of goodness to the next generation.